Peace be with you. When Muslims are faced with hardship and loss of lives, you will often hear them say, Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. That's an Arabic term, and I'm not pronouncing it correctly more than likely because I don't speak Arabic like that. But that is an Arabic term that means to God we belong and to God we will most surely return. That is a mentality that Muslims are supposed to have when they are suffering hardship. God tells us in the Qur'an, in the second chapter of the Qur'an, verses 152 to 157, Therefore remember me, and I will remember you, and be thankful to me, be grateful to me, and do not be ungrateful. O you who believe, seek help through patience and prayer. Surely God is with the patient. And do not say of those who have been killed in God's way that they are dead. No, they are alive, but you do not perceive. And most surely we will try you with somewhat of fear and hunger, and loss of property and lives and fruits, so give good news to the patient. Those who hardship afflicts them say, to God we belong, and to God we will most certainly return. Those are they on whom are blessings and mercy from their Lord, and these are the followers of the right course. These verses are probably the scariest verses in the Quran in respect of the dunya, in respect of this world for me, because God tells us, and most certainly we will try you with somewhat of fear and hunger and loss of property and lives and fruits. If you live long enough, this will happen to you. Whether it's natural disasters, whether it's war, whether it's disease, whether it's financial bankruptcy, we are going to be tried with hardship. It doesn't matter who you are. And just to put things into perspective, if you are struggling with desire right now, if you can't even leave the things that are haram, especially out here in the West when we are so inundated by them and it's very hard to resist them, if you're having a hard time battling desires and you fail to remember God and act correctly in those instances, then how much harder it's going to be when there's fear and hunger and loss of life. To remember God is to recognize the situation and understand what God wants you to do in that situation. And when hardship afflicts us, God wants us to be patient and to remember that we are heading there no matter what. Whoever is oppressing us, they're heading there no matter what too. But it's such a hard thing to do. And I am terrified of failing. And I think every reasonable human being should be terrified of failing. It's easy to say, to act like you're Billy Badass and say, yeah, if I was in this situation, this is what I would do. But anybody that's sincere, they don't know how they're going to react in fear. They don't know how they're going to react in hunger. They don't know this. We don't know this. So I think it is imperative for every Muslim adult to consider these things and to try to have at least some sort of mental preparedness for the hardship when it does come. Of course, you can never prepare for this fully. But at least if you expect it, then there's a chance. God tells us, remember me and I will remember you. To remember God means to recognize and remember what God wants from us in these situations, and then we do them. And be grateful to God, and do not be ungrateful. O you who believe, seek help through patience and prayer. Surely God is with the patient. I cannot imagine the pain and suffering that people are going through in Gaza right now. Even though I grew up in a war and I've seen that already, I've seen it as a child and not as an adult. And I cannot imagine the pain and suffering that they're going through right now. That pain and suffering you can only experience when you are going through it. Even if you went through it before, you kind of don't have the same feeling of urgency that you do when you are going through it. And when that happens to us, we have to remember this. And I don't even know how. Try to develop that mentality. We all need to try to develop this mentality while times are easy, because once the times start being hard, if we haven't even prepared for it, at least partially mentally, then we are guaranteed to fail. And we shouldn't be the ones to fail this. To God we belong, and to God we will certainly return. Peace be with you.